Hi everyone, it's Donna here, and all I have for you today are some bodices. I have 4 bodices. I am doing today 1 bodice per person, mostly because I don't have packaging big enough to do multiples of these because they're so bulky. But 1 bodice per person. If you're interested in any of these, please send me your order of preference if you're interested in more than one of them, so that I will be able to go down your list and reserve whatever I have available when I get your email. So it's very important that you give me your order of preference if you're interested in more than one. Each of these bodices weighs just under the weight to go first class in the US. And 3 of them can go first class internationally, but one of them, bodice number 2, I'm only doing US shipping only because it weighs just over the amount, and the shipping will be really prohibitive for bodice number 2 outside of the US. So I hope that makes sense. For all of them, except for number 2, shipping in the US is $5.55. Canada is $6.27 for all of them except number 2. And international is $13.36 for all of them except for bodice number 2, which is US only. So I hope that makes sense. Let me get started. Bodice number 1 is a whole bodice. It has the sleeves as well. It is white. It has the embroidered appliques on it. And I'm just going to kind of pan around before I come in to show. This one was a brand new, never worn dress. It has the puffy sleeves from the 80s. Let me come down so you can see the appliques that are on here. They have clear sequins, fair amount of beadwork. This one at the bottom is kind of hanging off. My usual disclaimer, I forgot to say that up front, with bodices, they're usually more difficult to work with because more times than not the stitching that holds the beads on goes all the way through the satin, so you won't be able to remove them without losing the beadwork. You will need to cut around the appliques in order to use them. That being said, 2 of the ones I have today look like they are removable. I peeked inside of the satin and it looks like they're removable. This one is not one of those. This one you will have to cut to remove the appliques. I have this pretty one here with the cross hatching. And then on the sleeves, got this weird configuration going here. You've got this part here that's on tulle, so that will be easy to cut apart. You have this little applique here that has some dangles on it. That's just stitched on, so you'll be able to remove that. Got mostly satin on the sleeves down to some more beadwork at the bottom, and no satin cover buttons on the sleeves. So let me flip it over. There's some strands of beads on the back that are cascading down, so you'll have lots of beads that you can repurpose for something. And then just a few appliques coming down the side, and a few that wrap around from the front. So that is bodice number 1. Oh, I'm already all the way out. This one is $12. $12 plus the shipping. Bodice number 2 is the one that is US only. Shipping will be very prohibitive outside of the US on this one because of the weight of it. It just squeaks under the weight for first class. And this is one of the ones that the appliques are removable. I peeked inside the satin here and it looks like just machine stitching that's holding the appliques on. The satin on this is kind of a light champagne color. It has this kind of folded area coming down. I'm just going to pan and then I'll come in. This one has the corded à l'ensemble appliques on it, clear sequins. I don't think any today have, no, there's no iridescent sequins in the bodices today. This one also has the sleeves on it. So let me come down so you can see the appliques on this one. Got these ones hanging off the bottom here. Has some nice beadwork, very shiny sequins. Coming up the side, and here's the neckline. Lots of appliques. And then you've got the sleeves that are also covered. The sequins at the very top of the sleeves are a little bit yellowed, and that's the only area where they're yellowed. The rest of the bodice looks fine. You got all these appliques coming down the sleeve. And then you've got some satin covered buttons on the sleeve also, and nice beadwork down here. So that's the front. On the back there's lots of appliques on the back also, all the way down both sides, and then you've got all these satin covered buttons on the back as well. And normally the back isn't as heavily beaded as the front, but this dress is pretty much the same on the back as it was on the front, the beadwork on it. You've got some that are kind of hanging off the bottom here. Those will be really easy to take off. And you've got all your satin covered buttons. So this is bodice number 2. This one is US only. This one is $16. Bodice number 2. Bodice number 3 is heavily beaded. This one is removable. The appliques look like they are removable. It looks like just machine stitching that I see underneath. So you'll be able to seam pick these appliques off. I'm just going to pan through. This one is the cutwork type appliques. They're the satin appliques. You've got this nice medallion at the bottom. Clear sequins. You've got them wrapping around to the back. And then coming up the front, get the heavy beadwork there. And on that one. And then you get towards the top, it's even more heavily beaded. Just going to go up one side here. There's the neckline. Look at all the beadwork on that. Really nice. Really nice. And that's on both sides. Gorgeous. And then on the back, there are lots of appliques on the back. Not as heavily beaded as the front, but still a fair amount of beadwork on it. You still have clusters of beads on the appliques on the back. No satin covered buttons. It's just a zipper closure. So that is bodice number 3. This one is $16 as well. And finally, bodice number 4 is also heavily beaded. I'm going to show the beads there on the back. I'm just going to pan down so you can see it. This is just the bodice, no sleeves. Sleeves have already been sold and removed and sold some time ago. So this one has embroidered appliques, type appliques on it. You've got this pretty thing dangling off the bottom there. This one, I believe, yeah, this one you will need to cut the appliques to get them off. This one you might be able, this one at the bottom you might be able to get off because it's mostly not attached. You can see my fingers through it. But nice beadwork on here, heavily beaded. This medallion in the center has some dangles at the bottom of it. And it comes up. These nice flourishes with covered in beads. So that's the front of number 4. Flip it over and it has all of these dangles, cascading bead strands cascading from the top down to the sides. There's a whole bunch of them. So you got lots of beads that you can use, repurpose. You have some satin covered buttons up here. Those are the only satin covered buttons on this one. And then you've got these swirls with the beads up here and some more down at the bottom. There is one pearl button at the bottom here. That must have been for a bustle. Oh yeah, you have some more pearl buttons underneath here where there was where you bustled the skirt. So this is the back. That pretty swirl with all the pearls and sequins, and then all of these pearl strands. So that is bodice number 4. This one is $16 as well. If you are interested in any of these, please send me an email with your order of preference. That's very important if you're interested in more than one. As things sell out, I will mark them sold down below. These usually sell out pretty quickly, so if you're interested, don't hesitate. Go ahead and send me that email. That's all I have for today. I may come back later with the flip through of that mini journal. I'm pretty much done with it. I don't know what I'm doing next weekend. I have a couple of things in mind, but they will take me some time to put them together. So stay tuned next weekend for whatever I offer. There'll be some kind of grab bags or bundles of some sort, but I'm not sure what yet. So that's all I have for today. Bye for now.